Ho, 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 ho.
You're listening to WEEU Radio, broadcasting at 830 on the AM dial from Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm Jingle Schnutz, the WEEU Holiday Festival of Sound Elf. Have a great time with you during this holiday season. And now, more of our Holiday Festival of Sound.
Holiday greetings to you and yours. This is yours truly, Eastside Dave, producer and host of the weekly Mountain Folk radio and web show. Through the years, we've had many interesting singers, songwriters, musicians, and entertainers join us on the mountain to perform and to share stories about their songs and the inspirations behind their music. One of the most fascinating interviews we've ever had on the mountain occurred in November of 2010 when Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary stopped by the show and chatted with us about his brand new PBS television special that they had just worked out for the holiday season of 2010 called the Peter Yarrow Sing-Along Special. It's exactly what you think it might be. It's designed to have people sing along with Peter and elevate the whole experience to something much more special than you can get from just one person singing. There's definitely something magical about a group sing-along. Well, during the conversation, I talked with Peter about many things, including Puff the Magic Dragon, his classic song that he co-wrote. He never dreamed in his wildest dreams and imaginings that Puff the Magic Dragon would be a song about innocence and youth that would endure to this very day and probably will endure for, who knows, decades to come. He talked about this in the interview with me, and we decided that you can never really tell which of your songs is going to be the one that sticks with the public. We had some fun talking about his song, Puff the Magic Dragon, as well as his buddy Bobby's song. He refers to him as Bobby, as in Bob Dylan. And you'll hear that in this segment ahead. And then we'll also talk about Mary Travers of Peter, Paul, and Mary, who had passed on due to losing her battle with cancer, but courageously at the very end made one last recording of The Night Before Christmas. So Peter will talk about that right now. Here is Peter from Peter, Paul, and Mary talking about his surprise that Puff the Magic Dragon was such a huge success and a little bit of the story behind it, and then Mary's version of The Night Before Christmas.
It is. That's true. You know, I would, in a million years, I wouldn't have thought. Because here it was on our second album. We've done Autumn to May, or, and It's Raining, It's Pouring, two children's songs on the first album. They said, well, what are we going to do? And I said, well, I haven't ever played this for you, but I was singing this as a solo, and they said, oh, okay, we like that. And we did it, and there it rested on an album with nobody paying any attention. And then someplace in the Northwest, they had a competition for kids to draw what they thought Puff the Magic Dragon would look like. And they thought they'd get maybe, 50, in this contest. But they got, in this small town, it wasn't a small town, it was a small city, they got 5,000 responses. It was a deluge. And all of a sudden, the record company said, whoa, this is happening. And it became, a kind of a song. I was on the stage yesterday, and there was a 3-year-old who sang not just the chorus, but the words, except the ones that were frolic is always difficult. But the lyric to the verses as well. And, that's insane. That's incredible. That it's lasted that long. But, hey, I can be complimented by it, but I do know that in terms of songwriting, art, and skill, it's not what I would choose, for instance, you take Bobby Dylan songs, the ones that I couldn't believe because they were so powerful. And besides Blowing in the Wind, Only a Pawn in the Game, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Masters of War, and what gets to be a hit? Lay Lady Lay, excuse me, not or everybody
must get stoned. Oh. Right. Yeah. Hey, I got to sing with Peter Yarrow just now. Can we sing the first few words of Puff the Magic Dragon together?
Here we go. Puff
the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Oh, how charming.
And little
Jackie
All
Paper.
right.
Oh, just wonderful, wonderful. Thrill of a lifetime.
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. A dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant's rings make way for other toys. One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more, and Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Well, there's a song that's much beloved around the world during any season. The story of a little boy and Puff, the magic dragon, and childlike innocence and imagination in the land of Honolulu is performed by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Peter Yarrow was our special guest on the Mountain Folk Radio and Web Show in November of 2010 when he was just starting to give interviews about a brand new PBS special they had just produced at the time called The Peter Yarrow Sing-Along. One of the things we continued on in our interview talking about was the loss of Mary Travers, who, of course, was the Mary of Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the fact that she had made a holiday recording. In fact, the very last thing that Mary Travers ever recorded was a rendition of The Night Before Christmas, and we're going to hear that in just a moment. But first, let's hear a little bit more conversation with Peter Yarrow from Peter, Paul, and Mary about Mary and about the music, and about just the wonderful things that made Peter, Paul, and Mary so very, very special. Well, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Since it's the holiday time of year as we're coming into, do you, Peter Yarrow, have a favorite holiday song? For instance, you have a great rendition of The Marvelous Toy. Is there a special holiday memory you'd like to share with us? Something quick about music that we could feature?
Well, really, really a remarkable something that is very in the spirit of the book Puff the Magic Dragon. Let me explain to you why literature or children's books can be a window of the reaching the broader public. In a way that, as a folk singer or a singer of songs that are acoustic and in the folk tradition, if I were to put out an album, I'd be lucky to sell 15,000 albums. I mean, that's just a fact of life, But I made a small CD with 3 songs on it. 2 of the very first songs that I learned from Burl Ives, "The Froggy Went a Courtin'" and "The Blue-tailed Fly." The third song was "Puff the Magic Dragon," and I sang all 3 songs with my daughter. They happened to be attached to an illustrated book of Puff. Now, that CD has sold over 1 million copies because that's what the book is sold. So what does that tell you?
I think it tells us...
Make books.
Make books. Is that what it tells you? Okay.
It does. It says that if you want to reach the audience, for children, for kids, turn it into an illustrated book that's beautifully done. And I don't know if it'll work with an adult book, but it's now worked with Puff. Day is Done. That sold 250,000 so far. My other books with 12 songs that have sold, in the tens of thousands, but that's fine. They'll sell forever, and they're more. They hit a different audience, and they're in all the libraries and everything, and they're available. The songs are all available to educators for free, and so I. What was I talking about?
Well, here's what we're doing. I am asking if you have any...
Oh, yes, about Christmas.
Christmas, right.
In the wake of these books, there are other artists that have put them out. For instance, Judy Collins put out Over the Rainbow, and it was just about a month ago #1 on the New York Times bestseller list for children's books of that sort, illustrated children's books. And Tom Paxton's Marvelous Toy. But the last thing that Mary recorded was a spoken version, a narrated version of The Night Before Christmas, which is coming out. And after she passed, Noel, Paul, and I made a background for it. And that, if you listen to that Christmas song, which is spoken, but it's got the music of his song version of The Night Before Christmas. If you listen to that, you will you'll hear something that will kind of embrace the great spirit of Mary, who was, relentlessly forthright, relentlessly honest, relentlessly uncompromising in her demand that there be equity and respect in her relations with other people, despite the fact that she was a beautiful woman and a woman. She never traded on that. She never manipulated using it. She never found ways around it or was disingenuous and devious. She was a role model for women who said we can be truthful.
So all of you.
For men, for women. And guess what?
For everyone.
She was not considered to be highly unattractive by men. On the contrary.
And yet you could all, including her, be that giving. And perhaps as we talk about the holiday season and the gift of music and love, that's probably the greatest gift anybody could ever leave and the best legacy anyone could leave behind.
Right. So if you want to know what to play for that, take that CD with 3 songs on it. One, Noel's version, original one, recorded about 25 years ago of The Night Before Christmas. Played Mary's narrated version from that book that will be coming out. It's available, I think, on Amazon, but it's not in the stores yet. And play that. And it's as if we are sitting around in a living room and plucking our guitars and humming in back of her as she says, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." And you hear us da 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 yeah da 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 yeah da da da, and you'll hear the last CD that the last recording Mary ever made. She was in a wheelchair. She was on oxygen. She was very fragile. She came out and she took her into her great room in her place in Connecticut, which was this barn-like structure that she built. And she did one take of it, and then she said, "Okay, let's do it again." And then we listened to. She said, "You know me, one take Mary," and that was it. And that's the one we used.
How charming.
Hey, we are recording. Okay, here you are.
Imagine that it's the night before Christmas and we're noodling on the guitars and we ask Mary to read that famous poem.
Was the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mom in her picture, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew with a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick. Well, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted, and he called them by name. On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet to an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the rooftop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing, the pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up in a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. And I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk. And laying a finger to the side of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney, he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, and to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good night."
Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to all. Good night. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Reading Musical Foundation is Berks County's strongest advocate for music in our schools, and you can make it stronger. I'm Randy Shaler, CEO of Zezwitz Music. Zezwitz is proud to support Reading Musical Foundation's Operation Replay. RMF gathers musical instruments from donors like you around Berks County and turns them into new musical opportunities for young musicians who otherwise couldn't afford to play music. Join me and hundreds of others who invest in the future of music in Berks County with RMF, Reading Musical Foundation, for the love of music.
Ho, 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 ho.
Next up on our WEEU Holiday Festival of Sound, parts of a live recording that was made back in 2006 with music director and maestro Andrew Constantine of the Reading Symphony Orchestra during their New Year's Eve concert. Enjoy. Next, ladies and gentlemen, with your ticket support and coming out to these great events and a sold-out crowd tonight for New Year's Eve, you help to support great music right here in Reading, Pennsylvania with our own Reading Symphony Orchestra. In addition to that, the orchestra does many different fundraising efforts through all and various arms of its organization throughout the year. One of the things they do is an annual fundraising event, and if a person has the heart and the spirit, well, not to mention the checkbook, to go ahead and write a very nice stipend, a donation to the Reading Symphony Orchestra, they win the prestigious Golden Baton Award for the year. And when they win the Golden Baton Award for the year, that entitles this person to come up and really engage in what would for most of us be the thrill of a lifetime. So when someday down the road you may want to think about you being the Golden Baton winner, food for thought. Because you will now get to do, in that time, what Francine Black is here to do. She is the Golden Baton winner. Welcome her now to conduct with the Reading Symphony Orchestra Mozart's Overture to the Marriage of Figaro. Francine Black.
My name is Rich Conrad, an elementary band teacher in the Reading School District, and I want to thank Reading Musical Foundation for their support of our music program. RMF's Operation Replay program collects donated instruments from community members and connects those instruments to students in need. Our students absolutely light up with joy when they're given this opportunity. If you have an unused instrument collecting dust in your house, please consider donating it to Operation Replay. Your generosity can make a difference in the life of an aspiring young musician. Find more information at readingmusicalfoundation.org.
Hi, this is Dave Kline from WEEU Radio, Reading Eagle Company, and Pretzel City Productions. Pierogies, kielbasa, angel hair pasta with meatballs and marinara, paella, nice and spicy, potatoes, some goose, a glazed ham or roast beef. Wash it all down with ale, cider, boilo, champagne, or whatever it is you like, and then dance the polka, tarantella, salsa, klezmer horsch, a landler, line dances or hoedowns, no matter how you celebrate. Please have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and holiday season, and remember, it's all about unity in spirit, not division by ethnicity or religious belief. May the Creator bless you throughout the coming year, and thanks for listening to WEEU. That's your own Reading Symphony Orchestra under the baton of music director Andrew Constantine, recorded live in 2006 at the Santander Performing Arts Center, a recording they chose to share with us here so that we could present it to you during our WEEU Holiday Festival of Sound.
Reading Musical Foundation scholarship recipient Rachel Shapiro recalls, "I was 8 years old clutching a half-size violin the very first time the Reading Musical Foundation impacted my life. Having just performed a rousing rendition of Suzuki Book 4 favorites for an imposing panel of judges, including Maestro Sidney Rothstein, former music director of the Reading Symphony Orchestra, I was absolutely delighted to learn I had been awarded $25 in the form of a Catherine N. Quartner, Rita Quartner, Herman String Scholarship. To date, RMF's scholarship program has awarded over $1 million in scholarship awards to talented musicians across Berks County. To learn how to establish or participate in RMF's scholarship program, please visit their website at www.readingmusicalfoundation.org.